The origin of the Hmong people is unknown. However, many scholars believe that they originated in the Mesopotamia region and gradually migrated to the Hebei province in northern China. Over 5,000 years ago, the Hmong were living in China long before the Chinese. Around 2700 BC, they were governed by the legendary warrior Chief Qi Yu.
Qi Yu is the Chinese pronunciation. The Hmong pronunciation really means Zi Yao. Zi means father. Yao is grandfather. Now, there was 3 groups, and the Hmong were one group, and the other 2 groups end up being the modern day Han Chinese today. And there was a big battle, and the 2 groups combined forces and fought, and Ziya's group lost.
Qi Yu was captured in 2704 BC and was executed. His body cut into 9 pieces, which were then scattered into 9 separate mounds so that the Hmong people would never be reunited. 1,000 years after the death of Qi Yu, the Hmong formed a second kingdom called Sung Miao, which means us Hmong. Once again, the Chinese invaded, and the Hmong were defeated and nearly exterminated. The Hmong then dispersed, most migrating southward into the lower reaches of the Yellow River to Yunnan province. Between 704 and 223 BC, the Great Hmong Kingdom of Chu existed in Yunnan. During a war that lasted 200 years, the Great Kingdom fell to Chinese rule. All known Hmong books were burned, and those who dared use the Hmong language were punished by death. Hmong of those days are said to have had blonde hair and blue eyes, which was how they were easily identified and killed. Hmong history was preserved into pictorial quilts known as pang dao. In 1615, the Chinese began building a 100-mile-long Great Wall in the west to block out Hmong rebellions from Baojiang to Tongren. It was known as the Southern Great Wall. Not willing to subject to Chinese rule, many of the Hmong migrated south to Vietnam, Laos, and Burma in search for a new life of peace. Hmong means free people. Before the Vietnam War, Hmong were known as Miao. The term Miao means barbarian.
A Hmong person would never call another Hmong person Miao, regardless if they are from here or from China. It's only outsiders who are not Hmong themselves call the Hmong people Miao. And the term Hmong sort of just got into use since the war, when there was I think a newspaper or a magazine writer, and he kept referring the Hmong as Miao, and one of the Hmong person that he was interviewing was Dr. Yang Dao, and Dr. Yang Dao asked that he not call the Hmong people Miao anymore, and he started he asked that he call them Hmong.
During the Vietnam War, the CIA recruited the Hmong to fight against the impending communist armies. The Hmong were trained in guerrilla warfare and were led by Major General Vang Pao. Their 2 main objectives were to first block the Ho Chi Minh Trail, which was the main supply route for the North Vietnamese, and secondly, to rescue American pilots who had been shot down. In May of 1975, following the collapse of Vietnam and Cambodia, the North Vietnamese army allied with the Pathet Lao to overthrow the existing government of Laos. Major General Vang Pao and many of his staff were flown to safety, but the rest of the Hmong were left to fend for themselves. The Hmong were then targeted by the Pathet Lao for genocide. Many were killed or forced to labor camps for re-education, never to be seen again. Others took to the mountains, where they continued to fight. However, the NVA bombed and gassed the Hmong from air. Many of the Hmong people then attempted the difficult journey to Thailand. They traveled under the cover of darkness, bringing with them only the clothes on their back. The Hmong lucky enough to make it to Thailand were put into refugee camps. Despite the cruel condition of these camps, the Hmong had no other place left to go. There has never been any immigrant group that has suffered as much as the Hmong have as a result of their service to the United States government. Today, the Hmong are more dispersed than ever. Many have settled in the United States, Australia, and Europe, where they continue to preserve their culture, language, and customs.
We were this group of people who have always been displaced from place to place, and now we're in this country, and this is probably the first time in our history where we have the greatest opportunity to have equality like everyone else.